Now, I could just make a garden and plant this into my vegetable garden, and mushrooms will grow out of the ground also. But if we can force it to grow maybe in a banana leaf hut, or we can have it inside of our kitchen somewhere and we spray it with water, we can produce really healthy food that has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it. Now, sawdust, corn cobs, banana leaves, that doesn't really have eat that. I can't eat sawdust, I can't eat banana leaves, but the mushrooms can. And they are the bridge between something that we cannot eat and turning it into something that is not only that we can eat, but is really healthy for you. It's good for your immune system, it's good for your stomach health, it's good for your lungs, your heart. There's so many different things that mushrooms are good for. Now, these are just oyster mushrooms. We're talking about one mushroom here, and it has so many health benefits. But there are so many thousands of mushrooms that can be grown, that you can discover, that are waiting here in Uganda that the world has yet to discover, okay? So here I talked about cardboard starting the mycelium from spores, right? If I cook a sugar jelly, right, what I do is I boil water and I get a kind of jelly. It starts, when it's hot, it's liquid. When I pour it into these cups and it cools down, it becomes a solid. If I add a little bit of sugar to it, some coconut water, maybe I boil millet and I use the water from that, or I boil a potato and I use the water from that, I can take the spores and I scrape it onto a dish like this, and white mycelium will grow on the sugar jelly, okay? Now, we call this sugar jelly agar, all right? It's used in Asian cooking for making desserts. It basically is like making jello or gelatin. And so we force the mushrooms to grow on cardboard, on sugar jelly, on grain, right? If I discover a new mushroom here in Uganda, any mushroom that I find, all I do is I take a small piece of it, and I want to get the inside because the inside's very clean. The outside may have dirt on it, I may have coughed on it, right? If I take an empty petri dish, which is what these are, these little sugar cups are called petri dishes, and I cough into it, it will turn all these different colors, green, black, pink, it'll have bacteria growing in it. But if I put a mushroom on it, it will grow across that food source also. So what we do is we take this mycelium and we add it directly to cooked grain, okay? So I promise you, if you take a cut of this and you put it on sorghum that you boiled, once it cools down, because you don't want to kill the organism, all of this sorghum will turn white. And I have a bottle on that table over there. Dennis, do you see a bottle, a white bottle? White. White. It's a smaller bottle, but it's white. If you could find it, it might be on the table or over there somewhere. Actually, it's right on the fridge. Yep.
This one?
Yep. So if you hold up the bottle, so this sorghum turned into a white bottle of sorghum. Okay, and the only difference is that we put the mycelium on the grain, and it slowly grew down. Now, oysters don't grow on grain in nature, but the fact that they do, and we can make them grow wherever we put it, is a miracle, and it's what makes all of this possible. Because remember, you can break up a mushroom into 1,000 tiny pieces, and as long as you put it together with the right food source, it will grow into itself, just like it's doing here. So I break up all of that sorghum with a piece of metal, and then I spread it across banana leaves, or I spread it across sawdust. And here it starts to grow from every single little point that those little grains come from. So if you take one piece of grain, you'll watch it. It'll grow out as a circle. It'll move outwards from every single point, three-dimensionally. And the same is true with these petri dishes. If I take one of those pieces of grain and I put it on here, it will start to grow out. Now here we have a combination of contamination and oyster mushrooms. So what I do is I take just the clean part and I move it to another sugar jelly dish. And then that whole thing turns white eventually. Now maybe there's still a little bit of contamination, so I pick another clean part, and then I move that to another sugar jelly dish. And eventually I do that over and over again until the whole thing is just pure white with mycelium. Then I take that mycelium, I add it to grain. Then that grain turns white. I break that up. I add it to cooked banana leaves or cooked sawdust. That is the final stage. So here we have the final stages. It's growing into itself. And the thing is, it's not like vegetables. Vegetables, you have to plant it. You wait a few weeks. It gets this tall. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then I harvest. With this, 1 week later, this whole thing is going to be white. And then once it turns white, how do I possibly get it to grow? All I do is I cut it. That's it. And the mushrooms will come out of here. We added the water to the food that it grows on initially. And as long as you don't put it in the sun, if you put it inside of a banana leaf hut, if it's raining outside, if you spray it with water, all you do is cut it. And the fresh air tells the mushrooms, oh, we can come out now. And the little pins will begin. And remember, they grow so much faster than vegetables. So from here, tomorrow, all of this will be double in size. As soon as it starts growing, it doubles every day. So if it's only this big, it doubles. Then the next day, that size of mushroom will then double. So you're only talking about 3 or 4 days before you're ready to harvest. You pull it all off like a mango fruit, you cut it again, and it grows again. So, in this grow room here, we have thousands, maybe hundreds, of gardens of oyster mushroom. And the beautiful thing is it's all basically the same mushroom. I can take one petri dish like this, and I can make 50 more. All I need is the tiniest bit of mycelium, and I add it to more sugar jelly, and the whole thing turns white again. So if I can make 30 or 50 more petri dishes from one, that means that I can also take a bottle of grain like that and make 10 more bottles of grain. So I go, I break it all up, I have grain ready, and I pour one bottle into another. Now I have 10 bottles of grain. Then I take those 10 bottles of grain and I make 100 gardens from banana leaves or corn cobs. And the important thing is that you can't eat banana leaves, you can't eat corn cobs, but I can move my hands. I can soak the banana leaves, I can soak the corn cobs, and I can cook it over a barrel. And I add the grain to it, and it becomes a mushroom garden within 1 or 2 months. And now I have nutritious food, which is good for me, and you can also sell it at market. More and more people, when they start to become mushroom growers, they will find that they cannot grow enough, okay? Because hotels are going to be calling them, restaurants are going to be calling them. You go to market and you sell out every single time. If you can figure out how to grow mushrooms really well, you can make good money because the right people are going to come to you and they're going to say, how can I get 10 times the amount that you have? And that is the story of so many mushroom farmers. How can I get 5 times the amount that you sold me today? Can you do it every week? Can you do it every 2 weeks? And that's the problem you're gonna have. How do I get more barrels? How do I make more gardens? Because people wanna buy more of this and I can't possibly grow what I want to be able to grow. And so mushrooms are absolutely incredible. We're gonna go into the grow rooms here and check it out. Remember, mushrooms like water, they're 90% water, okay? So if I take 10 kilos of mushrooms and I dry it down, it becomes 1 kilo of dried mushrooms. That's because it's mostly water. So what we do when we grow the mushrooms, whether it's in a banana leaf hut, we protect it from the sun because the sun dries everything out, and we water it down. So whether it's raining outside, that's nature doing it for us. Or we wet the floors, we wet the walls, or we add water to the gardens themselves, but not to the fruits, because they can get real soggy if you water them too much. But if you water the outside, you water the walls, you water the floors, the mushrooms will grow very beautifully. So we're gonna go into this grow room here. I'm gonna just cut through. I'm gonna come through all of you folks here. Excuse me. And so remember,